Hi, welcome to the video tutorial for the Kanamachi game. So I've got everything set out that I need. Of course, I've got my Arduino board, got my buzzer here, and my sonar. Something I'm going to use for this game, which makes it portable, is my battery clip here, and a 9-volt battery, a PP3. So I'm going to use those later. And my jumper wires. I'm not using a breadboard because I want to be able to move my sonar around and point it in different directions. So I'm using a couple of jumper wires. I've got female to female and male to male, and I'm just using these to give me longer reach with the sonar. So let's go ahead and get the sonar connected. Now I'm going to start by connecting up the power for the sonar. So that's my VCC on here. So I'm going to plug that in there. Now obviously I can't plug this end into my board, so that's where I'm going to extend it with this. Okay, and now my other end, this I can put into my board. So remember, my VCC is going into my 5 volts here on the board. So I'll put that into the 5 volts. And next I'm going to do the same for my ground. So let me take this, connect up the ground, add on another one to extend it, and put this into ground, which is next to my 5 volts. So that's my power and ground. And next it's the trigger and echo that I want to connect. So let's start with our trigger. Put that one on there. And extend it. Now I'm just going to use number 9 for my trigger, which is what I've already put into the code. So it doesn't have to be 9, but it does match the code that's prepared. So that's my trigger. And lastly, the echo. So to receive that sonar signal when it bounces off an object, the echo, and then to extend it, and echo I'm going to put into number 8. Okay, which is what I've already used in the code. So that's my sonar setup, and as you can see we've got it on quite a nice length of cable there, so I'll be able to move this around, which makes it more fun when I'm actually using it. Now I just want to include my buzzer, which gives me feedback about how far away I am from an obstacle. And again, I don't want to use a breadboard. I want this whole thing to be used together, so it's mobile. So I'm going to plug the buzzer straight into the board. So again, remember, you've got your 2 legs, the longer one and the shorter one. So the shorter one is for ground, longer one is going to go to one of our digital pins out with a number. And just because of the size of this buzzer, the easiest way to do this, let me move these other bits out of the way, is I can get that short pin straight into the ground, and it means that the positive kind of lines up perfectly with number 11. So as long as you're using exactly the same buzzer as me, we can get that short pin into the ground, and the positive is going to go into number 11, and the whole thing fits in nice and neatly like that. And again, the code is already using the number 11 pin for the buzzer. So nice and simple, quick and easy. That's our hardware setup. And next we need to move over to the code and get it running. There will be one more part when we include the battery, which I'll show you afterwards. First we'll get it running powered through your computer. So we've got our code open. Might seem a little bit complex. It's actually not that bad. Depends how familiar you are with coding in general and Arduino code. I'm just going to run through it now, give you a quick overview of the main parts. And there'll be another more in-depth tutorial for those that want to know. Otherwise, if you just want to get the game up and running, then all you need to do is open this code and run it, and perhaps skip ahead to the part where I show you about connecting the battery. But for now, let's have a little look at the code. So we have our echo and trigger pins here. So trigger pin is sending out the signal, echo pin is receiving it, and we've got our buzzer. That's all that we're using for this. This next part, this is our distance. So remember, it's going to tell us how far away an obstacle is. So we've got our long range set at 75. These numbers can obviously be changed. So if you're going to do anything with the code, I recommend you play about, change these numbers, set it up for how you want it to react. Medium 2, so that's medium range is 50. Another medium range is 25. So basically we've got one distance set at 75, a little bit closer is 50, a little bit closer is 25, and the lowest is 0. Then we just skip ahead to our setup here, where we've got our pin mode. The trigger is an output, the echo is an input, it's receiving that signal, the sound that's bounced back, and we've got our buzzer, which of course is an output. So pretty standard stuff here. And then into our loop. Now this part is the part that deals with the actual sonar. So what does it do? Well, it sends out a signal on the trigger pin. Well, first of all, it turns it off. So make sure that trigger is off for 2 microseconds, a very short time. Then it turns on that trigger, sends out a signal for just 10 microseconds. Then it turns it off. So we're turning this trigger pin, make sure it's off, then on, then off. Then with the echo pin, we're looking for that pulse in, we're looking for that signal to bounce back, and this is our duration. So depending on how long it takes for that signal to come back. So we're turning that pin on and listening for that signal bounce back. Trigger is just sending out a sound, echo is listening for that. And our distance is duration divided by 58.2. Kind of a standard setup there for the sonar. So we've got our all-important distance. So all this code is doing is giving us a distance. Then we've got a series of if statements here, checking, okay, what is that distance? So first, if the distance is greater than or equal to the low range, which is 0, and it's less than or equal to the medium range. So medium range is what we set up here is 25. So if the distance is between 0 and 25, then we're going to call this function. too close. So what is that function? Well, down here, too close function, it's basically turning on the buzzer and turning off the buzzer with a delay of 100. So we're getting on, off with a short delay. It gives that quick buzzing sound, on, off, and that's our signal that you're too close. So the faster the buzzer is beeping, the closer you are. So this first if statement, if it's between the low range and medium range, then you're too close. That will turn the buzzer on and off quickly. And the next one, if you are between the medium range and the second medium range, so it's a little bit further away, then we're going to have this kind of a strange name, but too medium. And too medium, if you have a look, they're pretty much the same thing, and the only thing that's different is the delay. This is an important number that you might want to play around with. So the delay is slightly longer, so we get a slightly slower buzzing sound. Faster the sound, that's kind of a signal, okay, you're really close now. Slower, then you know, okay, there's something in the way, and that's why we've used 300. And finally, if we're between this second medium range and the long range, so there's something, but it's still quite a way off, then we're calling this too medium 2 function. And again, it's basically the same thing with a longer delay. So we've got a delay of 600. So these three functions are just the parts controlling the buzzer. The shorter the delay, lower this number, the quicker it will buzz. And if something is a bit further away, delay is a bit greater, so it'll be buzzing more slowly. That's what gives you the signal. Now, if you've used the game, then this will make more sense. If you haven't used it yet, then once you've used it, this part of the code is going to make a lot more sense. So if you're confident, then you could even add in another range. So we've got 3 at the moment. We've got the long range, medium 2, medium. So there's 3 distances and 3 kinds of buzzing going on. You could add another one that's much slower, or if you're really, really close, it could be really fast. And that would involve adding another if statement and another function changing the delay. So if you feel like a challenge or that something you feel you can do, you could add in another step to it. Or if you don't want to get too involved with changing the code, why not have a go at just changing these numbers here, which will change the speed of the buzzing. Do it, run it, and then that'll make sense. And that's the best way to learn. And the other numbers that you can freely change are these ones here, which will change the distance that it's sensing. So that's a quick overview of the code. And let's move over to seeing what happens when we actually run this. So I have my board connected to my laptop, everything set up, and I'm just going to upload the code, and we should see the lights flashing, letting us know that's all uploaded. So code is sitting there, it's actually running. There's nothing too close to my sonar sensor, so we're not getting any buzzing at the moment. So I'm just going to put my hand above the sensor. Now that's our long range buzzing, so it's telling us something's there, and I'm going to bring it down a bit closer. So now the speed has increased, so we know something is a bit closer, and I'm going to get very close. And it's very fast, so we know something is very close. It's warning you something's in the way. And if I move my hand, there's nothing in the way of it that's very close, so it's not buzzing at all. Now at the moment, because I'm plugged into my computer, I can't really walk around very easily with this. So we're just going to have a look at connecting up our battery connector here with a 9-volt battery. So very simple. The code is already sitting on here, which is important. And I can remove from the USB and simply connect this up as usual. You're probably used to doing. So connecting the battery like that, and this end goes into here, and we can see lights come on, and already it's starting to react. So oops, so power is coming from there. Don't need this anymore, and I can pick the whole thing up and walk around with it. So from my furthest distance, my hand is coming closer, and as I put my hand very close, that's my closest warning. So I can pick this up, and the moment it's bouncing off the wall there, so it's very close, and if I point it back towards the ceiling, it's not sensing anything very close, and the whole thing is now very mobile. I can walk around with this. So I hope you have fun playing with this, and why not have a go, delve into the code, change a few things, set up different distances, set up different speeds, or even add another step and a whole new function to measure a new distance. Okay, have fun. I'll see you in another video soon.